Bill O'Reilly here, Tuesday, August 6, 2019. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening across our nation. The FBI warning Americans of potential copycat mass shooters. Senator McConnell says the GOP will consider bipartisan gun violence legislation. All eyes on the stock market as the U.S. trade war with China intensifies. North Korea launches 2 more missiles into the sea. Americans beware. Poisonous snakes on the rise across the USA. Also coming up, the message of the day on hateful rhetoric. But first, the FBI warning us to be on a lookout for copycat shooters in the days ahead, saying individuals could be inspired after 2 gunmen took the lives of more than 30 Americans in El Paso and Dayton. The agency asking anyone who observes questionable behavior in person or on the internet to please contact law enforcement. Meantime, the mass murders are now political. More on that in the next segment. Senate Majority Leader McConnell confirming Republican lawmakers are open to new bipartisan measures to curb gun violence across the country if possible. The GOP leader telling reporters he supports so-called red flag laws, rules that allow law enforcement to seize a person's weapons if that person is deemed a threat. Also being discussed, background checks. The Dow Jones Industrial Average plunging more than 700 points yesterday as the U.S.-China trade war intensifies. The drop happened moments after Beijing allowed their highly controlled currency to fall to its lowest level against the dollar in more than a decade. President Trump accusing China of manipulating the currency because the Chinese will pay less on U.S. tariffs if the yuan is lower. North Korea continuing to test the world, launching at least 2 missiles into the sea. The communist regime saying the test is a direct response to the joint U.S.-South Korean military drills in the region. Nuclear negotiations between the White House and Kim Jong-un are stalled. Americans across the southern United States facing a rather unique threat. Scientists confirming poisonous snake bites are up 10% in North Carolina, Georgia, and some other states. Authorities saying there have been 415 bites in Texas alone this year, 27% more than 5 years ago. Coming up, the message of the day on hateful rhetoric. Bill O'Reilly here. If you are age 75 or older, and if you own a $100,000 life insurance policy or larger, I want you to get a pen and write down this information. Many Americans are making the decision to convert their life insurance policy into cash, giving them some extra money to pay off credit cards, medical bills, any number of things. Look, the economy's been a struggle for many. Some people need cash. There's nothing wrong with that. You can get that money if you're over 75 and if you have a $100,000 or larger life insurance policy. So write this number down, 844-WE-BUY-75. Totally free to call it. Get rid of those insurance premiums. Stop paying them. Consider turning the policy into cash. The number again, 844-WE-BUY-75. 844-WEBUY-75. 844-WE-BUY-75. Call now. Brought to you by our sponsor, Life Guide Partners. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. Hateful rhetoric in America. There's plenty of it, fueled by an irresponsible press and an out-of-control social media. We are seeing it this week after the awful shootings in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio. Opponents of President Trump are blaming him for the mass murders. That is irresponsible and in itself very hateful. Under President Obama, as we reported yesterday, there were 24 mass shootings, hundreds killed, hundreds more wounded. Did President Obama utter hateful rhetoric that stimulated the shootings? No, he did not. President Trump is a provocative man. There is no question he uses his Twitter feed to go after his opponents in very personal ways sometimes. I have said to President Trump himself that he might reconsider doing that because his words have so much weight. But The president knows that powerful people in this country are trying to destroy his presidency. Congressman Elijah Cummings, Congressman Gerald Nadler, Congressman Adam Schiff, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, all have tried to destroy the Trump presidency. So what is the president supposed to do? He fights back. When he did that in the Republican primaries, he won. And he's convinced that is the way to win again. I'm not so convinced. But what I do know is that people like Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez hate President Trump. And their rhetoric is over the top and stimulates further hatred toward this country, not only the president. The dictum that the O'Reilly update always uses is you don't justify bad behavior by pointing to other bad behavior. Again, the President of the United States should cut back on rhetoric that may stimulate bad feeling. I agree with that 100%. However, we are living in a unique time, a time when the national media has joined together with a political party, the Democrats, to destroy a sitting president. Who will defend Donald Trump if he does not do it himself? The press is 90% against him. However, the president should temper his remarks, stay on the facts and the issues, because there are a lot of crazy people out there. And one of them teaches at the University of California. A professor there, I'm not going to name him because I don't want to incite violence against him, has said that any support of Donald Trump must be, quote, eradicated. Now, that is a dangerous statement that could absolutely lead to violence. That is the University of California, the nation's largest university system. So, recapping. Hateful rhetoric, it's all over the place in America. Does it do damage to us? Yes, it does. Does it directly stimulate maniacs? We don't know that. You can't accuse anyone. It's not fair, but it's happening. And that's the message. For more commentary and honest analysis, please head over to BillO'Reilly.com. I think you'll like it there. Coming next, something you might not know. There's a lot of talk around mortgage rates lately. In fact, the Fed just had a meeting and they cut them. And when rates get cut, it can have a big impact on your mortgage. How? It means a lower monthly payment. You pay less interest to borrow money, so you make a smaller payment each month. With rates so low right now, it's worth a call to American Financing. They've been helping people just like you for more than 20 years, buying homes, refinancing mortgages, even consolidating debt. They're currently saving customers $1,000 or more each month. So why not see what they can do for you? Even if you recently bought a home, you can still be eligible for a lower rate. So make the 10-minute call to American Financing now. Get a free mortgage review. 888-462-9557. 888-462-9557 or online at AmericanFinancing.net. American Financing, NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. Most Americans are well aware that college campuses across the USA are dominated by left-wing professors and administrators. So it's no surprise the echo chamber is having a major impact on how students see the country. According to college polls, a recent poll of Americans' college students shows 22% of them believe Barack Obama is the greatest president in the history of the country. Of course, that's absurd. A recent survey of the nation's top 200 political scientists and historians did rank American presidents from best to worst on a series of issues, including foreign policy, the economy, and other factors. Here's what the survey found. Historians largely agree the country's third greatest president was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the only man to serve more than 2 terms in office. FDR guided the USA through the Great Depression and most of World War II before dying in office. Second on the list, George Washington, the country's first president, not only led the Continental Army during the Revolutionary War, but reestablished relations with Great Britain in the years that followed, which bolstered the nation through trade. Many of the presidential institutions used today were created by Washington, including the cabinet system and the inaugural address. A good book on Washington is Killing England, written by your humble correspondent. The country's best president, according to the historians, the great emancipator Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln not only saved the Republic during the Civil War, he guided America into a place where individual citizens could succeed on a grand scale. The Gettysburg Address is one of the finest speeches ever written in the English language. Again, a book, Killing Lincoln, written by me, is a good source about President Lincoln, and he is the greatest president of all time. President Barack Obama is ranked well by the historians, receiving high marks for handling the recession and the final stages of two wars in the Middle East. However, Mr. Obama's performance will have to be evaluated over time, as more perspective is needed to assess it. We will be right back. The Amazon Capital One data breach just hit. 106 million of us just had our names, home addresses, banking information exposed. Forget credit card theft. Your far greater risk is home title fraud. Title fraud is rampant because identity thieves figured out the title and mortgage to our homes are kept online. Their big payday comes by forging your name off your home's title. So it appears they own your home. Then they borrow all your equity till it's gone. Forget your insurance, bank, or identity theft program. They don't touch this. Home Title Lock does. And they do it by locking down your home's online title and mortgage. The first 60 days after crimes like the Amazon server Capital One breach are crucial. So I got you 60 risk-free days of Home Title Lock protection. Claim your 60 risk-free days at HomeTitleLock.com. And enter your home address to see if you're already a victim. That's HomeTitleLock.com, HomeTitleLock.com. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.